to Fanatically Correct. Brought to you by us, fans like you, but mostly us.
In a dark corner of the world, three men will work together to bring you a podcast like no other. This is Fanatically Correct, where the fans, the geeks, and the nerds are always correct. With your host, MSK, Yo Peace, and Omega.
Gonna start same thing just in case we lucked out as Yo Piece grunts his way through our intro. MSK is still handling some stuff, but he is still with us in spirit. We talk all the time, and we got some of his input on certain things. Hopefully we'll definitely be doing a Star Wars episode soon, because he finally did get to join the Rise of Skywalker club. He hated it. He thought it was the worst film ever.
He did.
That's so,
which is crazy.
so not like
it's crazy.
MSK.
It was such a 180.
It's a Babu Frick. But that's the same person. You probably know this, is your wife's a big Harry Potter fan. That's Moaning Myrtle, Baba
Yeah.
Frick. I knew it. It sounded familiar. So,
Well, I don't know if she knows it, to be honest with you.
well, don't tell her now. Now it's your little secret. Make her IMDb it like everyone else. So yeah, we have another episode at MSK, another a series that he will be doing eventually, and once he does, we'll probably revisit. It's another W. It looks like we're becoming WWE.
Shh, don't do that.
Sued.
Yeah, entertainment.
Man's gonna sue us. Yeah, it was
Somebody's gonna sue us.
The
Don't do that.
Watchmen and now The Witcher Entertainment. We're gonna do another W. We both, Yo Peace and myself, binged The Witcher. Warning: The Witcher is not kid friendly. It is not a family show.
No.
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 Unfortunately, it's like Game of Thrones, where yes, there's wizards and warlocks and dragons and witches and knights and kings and queens and princesses, and that stuff does kind of entice the children. But no, there's sex and there's nudity and there's lots of profanity. Nobody has.
Yes.
So the first F-bomb of the episode, no one has mastered the word fuck quite the way that The Witcher has. So
Henry's really good at it.
It's great.
Great. He's really good at it.
He's made for this role.
So, just to do things different, as different as we
I
can do
didn't
it.
say it. Yo,
Yeah, look at that. We did it. I just want to let you know where you can reach us. Huh? So you ready?
I'm ready. Do it.
You guys can reach us at fanaticallycorrect.com. We're also on Podbean, Google Play, AnyPod for Alexa, Echo, Spotify. Our podcast is also on iOS, and we're on iHeartRadio for some reason. Don't know who put us there, but we're there. So if you can, just please kindly review us on iTunes. That's what keeps the show going. You guys know how this thing works. Just, you hate us, love us, don't care, you can put that there. You just say, hey, I don't care about the show, just put it on there. Again, like I said, our website is fanaticallycorrect.com. You can follow us on FatCorrect on Twitter and Instagram, also on Fanatically Correct if you're looking on Facebook and MeWe. You can email us at contactfancor@gmail.com or leave us a voicemail at 786-704-8404. And like we always say, we will not pay for any long distances because we don't have the cash.
No, not going to happen.
Nope.
But if you keep reviewing us, maybe eventually we'll monetize the show and we can give you more content, but we still won't pay for long
still won't pay.
That's
It doesn't
never
matter.
gonna happen.
Doesn't matter what happens. I'm not paying for your long distance call.
It's not going to be a thing. And hopefully maybe I'll get around, start changing our voicemails a little bit on the Google number, and maybe get a different message every once in a while every time you call.
Maybe.
This will probably be an episode once we go into full deep spoilers where we might need some correcting, because let's do a quick review first of like we did with Watchmen.
Let's do it.
A friendly 5-10 minutes safe, and then we'll do the spoiler alert and get into that.
Is.
But like I'm saying, there might be some corrected, because the one thing I will start with is a warning. Be wide awake and have your coffee when you watch this series.
Yes.
You need to pay attention.
You do.
So that's, I don't want to say why, because that'll be a spoiler for some people. Some people won't consider it a spoiler, but some people will. So to be safe, just understand you need to pay attention. You need to follow storyline. As well, subtitles can't hurt. There's some accents. Not everyone's, the best of understanding certain British accents or Scottish accents or Irish accents, or the what they usually use, the accents of the fantasy world. It tends to be of the European and British areas. And also because there's a lot of similar character casting. Like, there's a lot of actors that look very similar once they throw on contact lenses for certain eye colors and things like that. So that can also confuse you where you are in the storyline. Yeah. Once we get into spoilers, I'll share one where that got me. And so even subtitles might not hurt. So just, you might make sure you're paying attention. You're probably going to IMDb and Google stuff a lot. Don't go too deep, because this is based on books and video games, so you might find a spoiler if you dig too deep, just like what would happen with Game of Thrones if you dug too deep into what the books that were already written had for you.
Yep.
So, and unlike Game of Thrones, there's so much material, I don't think they're ever going to get the chance to surpass what's already been done.
Some people, they have that time.
Yeah. I mean, unless they just totally jump forward and skip everything that's written. But, so review. Let's go, Yo Piece. You give it a shot first. How just overall blanket, Yo Piece review of how you feel about it.
All right, so I'm gonna be honest. It almost seems like I love everything. I don't. I put it on. I was in. Obviously, I'm not a big Witcher fan. Never followed the games. Never read the comic books. Never read the stories. I did know a little bit about Witcher. I did know that there were games. I never played them. Was never
Same here.
Yeah, it never interested my curiosity to go into it and see what it was. But I'll be honest, I turned it on and I was hooked. Me personally, I love fantasy world stories. I will tell the audience that it caught me and I was a little confused. That was just me in the beginning, but it all came together at the end. So I love overall. I love the show. I love the pace. I love the stories, and there were standalone stories, and it still worked very well with this show. So that's my overall take on this.
Well, I'll get into just a side note in general. I mean, obviously, we tend to not, we're just not that show. We're not trolls. We try not to be. Every once in a while, there's something that has greatly disappointed us. Jesse Eisenberg likes Luther. And we'll tend to just periodically crap on it. But we're we'll do an entire episode on something that we dislike. Because for the most part, if there's something that doesn't interest us or we don't like going into it, we wouldn't waste the time of watching it. And also, if there's something we didn't like that much, we try not to spend too much time with the negative energy trashing it. Because we still understand, like anything, a lot of hard work goes into everything.
Yes,
sometimes we're just so mad and we don't care. But in fairness, a lot of things that we personally don't like, I can't stand the Fast and Furious franchise. Right. And, a lot of our listeners, a lot of my friends, a lot of people love it. And, I understand there's still acting that goes into it and, it's writing and special effects and, hard work that goes into it. And, if it ain't for me, it ain't for me. It is what it is, difference of opinion. So overall, people come with you love everything. Not true. Just try to avoid watching things we don't love and don't
or reviewing them, of course. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, overall, look, I every once in a while I throw anything about Walking Dead. If MSK were here right now, he'd say stop bringing up Walking Dead. But we don't really do any episodes about it anymore because it's not that good anymore. I'm still hooked into it, but it's not that great. So trust me, there's plenty of things that we don't like. We just tend to not dedicate time of our lives talking about the stuff we don't like. We like to talk about the stuff we do. So that in that aspect, just understand that, because I know people are gonna come with that like, oh, you love everything. That's not true. We just don't really feel to need to take the time to just troll and trash everything. So obviously, going into that, we like The Witcher, and I like Yo Piece. I will say it. It's just to kind of like contrast what we saw last week in The Watchmen. It's not the same as that. That's one of the things that I personally, and Yo Piece and actually MSK as well, sharing this, we like seeing things that are different from each other. And this is another show that does things differently. Yes, it's another show about dragons and and wizards and warlocks and sword fight and all that, but it's not Game of Thrones.
No, it's not.
You could say it feels Game of Thrones because it's an adult oriented,
right.
And it's taking that Lord of the Rings type world and giving you in an adult content, but it's not. They don't tell the story the same way they do Lord of the Rings. They don't tell the story the same way they do with Game of Thrones. It's a different way of telling the story. It's a different set of characters, And yes, if you like that genre, most likely you're gonna like this show. But overall, it's a good, entertaining show. The fight scenes are bomb.
Yes.
I mean, I love episode 1 gets you hooked right away. Just other reasons once we go into the spoilers, but that you'll get hooked right away in episode 1. But a fight scene is one of them. There's a really good, epic fight scene that they're already memeing like crazy all over the internet. And that right away is like, wow, this is some good stuff. Great fight coordination and stunts and all that good stuff. Special effects, the whole nine. Netflix, they threw all the money at this. And Henry Cavill's dehydrating himself for 3 days at a time to do the scenes. You know what I mean? It's crazy. You see him in the interviews. So he's, they're doing everything they can for it to look, to get capture this look that they're aiming for. I'm hoping and guessing for the fan service. That's kind of what they have, more or less in the game. And, what's described in the books, and that's what they're going for. But yeah, I'm guessing if you're a fan of the games or the books, definitely watch the show. And if you're a fan of Game of Thrones or Lord of the Rings or anything else in that genre, definitely watch the show. And if not, give it a try. You might like it.
You never know.
It's unique and it's fun. So I think that's it for the review. Obviously, we like it. We give it a thumbs up. Kind of use a bit of a simile and examples as to why you might want to tune into the show. Now, for those who have watched that show, spoiler alert! Spoiler!
There he is.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Man, would have been awesome. Like, I think they should have doesn't it sound almost like they were about to have Pearl Jam or
it was
Creed
catchy
or something like that. Sing that song.
It was catchy. I mean, I'm looking for the remix. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm looking for the remix. It's gonna be on my radio at some point.
Yeah, it's okay. On the side with that, it's a summer of 2019 was owned by a throwback to the 80s of turn around, look at what you see because of Stranger Things. And now what has totally ended 2019 and now captured beginning of 20 is toss a coin to your witcher, oh valley of plenty. Oh man, it's such a catchy damn tune, man.
It's very, very catchy.
I'm making that my ringtone. I gotta get it and make that my ringtone. That is it's so perfectly annoying.
That's funny.
Great song. That guy's hilarious. He's a great character. The side journeyman, the singer.
Yes, he is awesome.
So now into spoilers and now into profanity and into all the adult contact. You know what? I'm gonna throw this out real quick for some of our female anatomy enjoyers. Man, that was one hot hunchback while she was still a hunchback.
Right?
It's like you knew, man. It's you know what? I think they're gonna, do something, some type of glamour, witch power, whatever, to change the situation. But if not, I'm kind of okay with it.
Yeah. I mean, I would. Yeah.
They really went for it on the nudity with a hunchback, and I was like, oh wow, okay,
yeah, okay.
They're going with this. It's yes, a sanctuary. But nah, man, this show is crazy. And now to get into what everyone knows, we're dying to talk about. Obviously, episode 1 gets you hooked right away because you start to realize, and then of course, hence the IMDb and the research. It's like I told Yo Piece in a conversation we had. I was watching at one point my stepfather, and his comment was, "The Witcher, they should call it The Witcher," because a Witcher fucking storyline am I watching? Right? Yeah. What timeline are we in right now?
Yeah, it was. That's the thing. Like when I said in the beginning, it took me a while. I was paying attention. I was into the show, but I was just something was bothering me, and it just kept going back and forth. And I was like, man, it doesn't look like it, but is it Are we in another timeline, or is this the same timeline?
All over the place.
And then it felt like
it was.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we were a little prepared for it because Westworld pretty much did the same thing,
right.
Except they did it in a way that to totally not let you realize.
Yeah.
Till the end that it was two separate timelines because they did a great job, and you're kind of confused. Wait a minute, and every once in a while. It was so subtle. Wait a minute, wasn't she here or here? Because they purposely took away showing the current timeline with a certain character so you wouldn't catch on, and then the reveal. So another show has done this before, but they did it more subtle because that was their big twist. This show's nah, man, this is the whole season.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah,
pay attention.
It's you better pay attention. You better get it.
Yeah,
we're
so
showing we're showing you these eyes, we're showing you
reveals.
these things. Like, figure it out.
Yep. So you had to, like that's what I was saying earlier. We got to pay attention, and this was one of the few shows that my wife, we did Lost in Space season 2 recently. That's a show she likes. Excellent season, by the way. So I recommend that as well. But we watched the first episode together, and it was a instant binge because you're like, okay, if we just keep watching, it'll start making sense at some point.
Yeah.
Like we just gotta, and it does. But you gotta keep watching.
Yeah,
you gotta. And my warning, my personal experience. The actress, and I don't care what anybody says, it's what happened to me. It was my experience. The actress that plays in the episode with the brother and sister and central, king and princess or whatever, that had the cursed daughter that was a monster. Which was a great.
Okay, I remember the monster.
Yeah, the monster one, the one where he saves her at the end and actually cures her.
What a great episode!
Is one of his best fucks, because when she broke the chains, the monster broke the chains. Like he says it just as you're thinking, like the words are coming out of your mouth, and it's just fuck. Like now I gotta deal with this shit. This didn't work, but yeah, that episode, that little girl looked so much like Siri.
Yeah,
and I'm like, what? I'm like, oh, and then remember they gave him the necklace. Like that's how they know. That's why they, at that time, I'm thinking that's why they said the Witcher's her destiny, because he's the one. This is obviously before. Law of Surprise, right, which is now my new requested, 2019 is, this is the way I have spoken, Law of Surprise, and fuck. Those are like, that's the ending of 2019. That's
going to be your sayings for the rest of the year. It doesn't matter what comes up to you, you'll be like, fuck.
Exactly. Exactly. How can I ever thank you? Law of Surprise.
Yeah, it's going to be like, just like 5 words you're going to have in your vocabulary for the rest of the year. I like it.
Pretty much. Yeah, it works. It works. Just have a little box with those buttons. Just press it. Save your voice for the rest of the year. But so yeah, in that episode, before Law of Surprise, I'm like, oh shit, that's Siri. But then when the Law of Surprise comes, I'm like, wait the fuck, wait, how is she in this day and there? And then so then I good old IMDb. I'm like, that's not the same fucking actress.
No, and she looks a lot like her. Yeah.
When did they film this? Because if you look at current pictures of the actress who plays Siri, she's aged like 4 years.
Right.
She went from like age 13 to like age 22 in a matter of, not in the show. I'm just saying in real life. You're watching a series that just got released, and in real life she looks like near age to Yennefer, the witch.
The witch.
The Violet Eyes. I'm like, what? When did they film this? But as a younger actress, they looked very similar with the eyes and stuff like that. So it threw me for a loop. So again, pay attention. I don't know if I dozed off for a second, went to get a glass of water. I don't know what I did, but that threw me off for a while. And
that's what it was. You took a blink and it was over.
It is not a show you can blink on, and not that you wouldn't want to either. But yeah, so let's identify. You have, from what I understand, 3 timelines. And the representatives of the timelines are definitely mostly Yennefer is mostly the furthest back timeline. Mm-hmm. Then you have Siri is the current to date timeline as of now. I don't know what they're going to do in the next season to throw us for a loop. And then The Witcher seemed to possibly have a further back timeline that they touched a little, and then he's in both, obviously, of the Yennefer and Siri timelines till they all line up together in the final episode. Where they catch us up, where he was during,
towards the end,
what happened when the invasion and all that, which makes a lot of sense once they clarify it, and they do a good job of the pacing with it, and they do a good job that the reveals are still exciting, because you're like, holy shit, he was in the dungeon the whole fucking time.
The whole time he was just there while everything was happening, which is pretty cool.
Because this queen is an asshole, basically. You know what I mean? Like, she is such a
and it's
just
crazy
work
because
with the guy.
He did that on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming he let himself stay there on purpose.
Yeah.
Just to be as close as he can.
To save her. Exactly. Because that was after the dragon episode, right. And then he started feeling, a responsibility to his
destiny.
Law of Surprise.
To destiny. Yeah.
That was definitely, for me, the best fuck of the whole season was the Law of Surprise one, because what are the odds? You know what I mean? When he goes, whatever, and I don't want nothing. I don't want money, which is like the most honorable thing about the character. He lives for money, but when it's a right or wrong thing, which doesn't happen too often, but that was a right or wrong situation, he refused, to have any profit from that. So then he just did what like you did. You saved the guy's life because it's required to save a guy's life. You turned down his money. You know what? Law of surprise. What are the odds we're getting the exact same fucking surprise? And then she throws up. The wife throws up, and he just goes, "Fuck!"
like fuck. What happened now?
No, which is funny when you loop back. If the in the final episode when he's fighting those demons, not demons, the zombies, basically the necromancer, like walker things that eat the dead, the ghouls, I guess they were the ghouls. When that guy was saving him, and because he saved his life, he goes, "I'll give you law of surprise," which he turned down because obviously he's done with law of surprise. That's like never doing that again. But it would have been the same surprise because he gets home, surprise, we got this little girl living with us now. Because she's pretends like, oh, sorry, that it's exempt. She was already my surprise from another a surprise, but he turned it down. So, but man, I gotta say, let's go with a favorite episode, and that usually gets us talking, and we just go through the storylines. But do you have a favorite episode? Like specifically, was one your favorite?
Favorite episode, man. Honestly, there were a lot of good episodes. I think the one of my favorite ones was the one with the princess being whatever the hell she was.
The monster
or whatever,
like the werewolf type thing or whatever. Yeah.
But I think the end, bro. Like I think the end of this show is probably my favorite because I was able to get that closure. They didn't just leave it open, and I was gonna be mad if they were like. Because the way it just like she went into the woods, and then next thing you know, he comes, and you're like, I'm saying fuck like myself at this moment. Exactly. Now I'm like, okay, are they gonna do this? Are they just gonna give us another season? And just finally getting that closure of what he's been trying to do this whole time. Yeah. I felt it was a feel good moment for me, and I'm going to say that is my favorite episode because everything just closure. Came together so well.
I mean, it's not closure. It's still a total hangover. They just found each other. What happened to Yennefer? The King Forte just got there, so the battle's about to ensue. So we're gonna, episode 1. If they do that, they might not give us that battle immediately. They might start, which I'm fine with if they use the same recipe, which is okay. But by the end of the season, everything connects again, and on to next season to get the bits again. Yeah. And I agree with that. Your guy likes closure. I would go with actually my favorite episode was the one with the little girl, the one that confused the crap out of me, with the brother and sister. As a standalone story, like the dragon. I mean, they're all great episodes. Right. The dragon was really cool.
Was really really well done.
As a standalone story. The Jinn is hilarious. Yes, the genie.
That genie thing was awesome.
Hilarious episode. But has a lot of building to it, and this is a big deal. I don't know if you know this, and maybe you researched it too, and I'm going to break some bad news to a lot of people, which is that, okay, these books and these video games have been around now for over a decade. Yeah. And that wish that he made that he does not share has still yet to be shared, apparently, in the books or the video games. So either A, this show intends to make it up for them, or the creators of this are going to do it for the ever. Yeah, or it's just going to be something we're never going to get to know
like forever. It's going to be a forever thing. We're never going to know.
Yeah. Because obviously, I personally had started, and I think everyone started theorizing, because I thought in that very episode, which again, at that time, we still weren't sure of who Ciri was and where she really came from. Maybe it's a lie who her mother, and because we hadn't gotten to the Law of Surprise episode yet. So I had thought at that moment that maybe what happened was his third wish was to just give her whatever she desires, right? Which is for her womb to come back. And then when they, had sex right afterwards, I'm like, oh, he's knocking her up right now. And then I thought that maybe Ciri's his daughter, hence why Geralt of Rivia is her destiny. Yeah. You know what I mean? So again, that was a good twist. And then it's revealed with the dragon, because dragons apparently in this, in this story, in this universe, have the ability to kind of live outside of time. Right. He's basically the Dr. Manhattan of the of the Witcher.
That's funny.
And he told them, because I'll save you a lot of pain, but it's going to hurt. You're going to lose her. In other words, you're not going to be a thing. It's not going to happen, and you will never, be able to have kids. Basically, you get your womb back. At least have, kids of her own. Doesn't mean she can't be a mom, but it's not, she's not naturally be a mom. But he says that. So knowing that, then you're like, okay, well, the wish definitely wasn't that. You know what I mean? Because if not, that her future, wouldn't be that. So I'm curious to what the wish is. Is it something that would be in a side storyline, something, or would it involve something that we currently know
or
about?
Something
like,
we will never know, like you said, which is going to be genius and very disappointing.
Yeah. At the same time. And now we're definitely yearning for season 2 to see what happens to the friend, because the last time we saw him was when he told him he just wanted him to go away.
I know,
and
but how?
And then we know
how long has it been? Where's it been? I mean, like, come on, man.
Exactly. What's actually happened to him? Did he actually go away after that conversation, or did he die, or who knows?
Has it been following him like from the backgrounds without him even knowing, like what happened?
Yeah. So I don't know there. I mean, it's the same thing, but man, that's one catchy too, man. It's so good. Yeah, seen that all year long.
Such a great show. Going back to the show, man. Like, here's one thing I really enjoyed about it. I don't know if people are gonna give it a lot of credit. I love monsters. And I like these originality of these monsters, right? Because it's hard to do like original monsters anymore. You're down to the same type of monsters most of the time.
Pretty much.
It's either a dragon, a vampire, or a werewolf. Like all these, iconic ones, but with a little twist here and there. I love going into a story, especially a fantasy story, where you're giving me something new. And I think this show did that for me. Again, I was confused. I was like, I have no idea what this monster does, but I want to know. And they have different names. And they might resemble one of those iconic monsters that you know about, but they're really original. And I don't know if if it's gonna get a lot of credit for it, because that's hard to do, man. Writing a monster that's not that same thing that we always get, that's not an easy thing to do. So I don't know if that's gonna be
it's hardcore Harry Potter, because I'll give credit to Harry Potter with that. Same thing. They do a good job of giving different takes on some classic creatures and mythical creatures and some new ones. You know what I mean? And it does the same thing, but like hardcore, because like most of them are actual monsters. Or not. There's nothing good about them, other than the people. Because like when they had like I guess you call it the half goat guy, which that is a hilarious scene.
Dude, that was funny.
They're fighting.
That was funny.
Your motherfucker goat. I don't know. Your motherfucking snowman. Snowman. That's so funny with the white hair. Which he is the product. I'm sure everyone's seen that meme of Daenerys Targaryen and Superman.
Yes.
That's that. Then you have Geralt. What is it? Geralt. Like, that's what I like too about the show. Because I'm not going to share, but my wife has a similar name where people pronounce it differently all the time. Yeah. So I like that they do that in the show. Not everyone pronounces it the exact same way. Some people say Gerald, people say Gerard, some people say Gerard. Like, you do hear certain people, I mean, the same characters say it consistently the same way, like, but you do hear it.
I pronounce it Geraldo because that's just what it is.
Geraldo Rivera.
Geraldo Rivera. But I mean, that's what I say. Everybody pronounces it different. That's what I got.
That's great. Geraldo Rivera, El Witcher, El Santero. That's what it means.
So I mean, we can always have the these guys. What are their names? Very famous that they do the videos, those Hispanic videos.
Pinchy Films, Paranuts, Pinchy Films,
Pinchy Boys.
So
Boys, there you go. we can always give them a little.
Skit. Yeah, we just gave them the next skit. El Santero,
Geraldo Rivera.
Geraldo Rivera.
There you go. Dude, that's your new one to do.
It's gonna be a lot of what is that? Perfuma Violeta. It's a lot of that. Instead of a sword, it's a machete.
That's awesome. That's awesome. But man, really good content. The show is really good. I don't want to waste people's time more. I guess you've seen the listeners have seen the show by now. It's a really fun show. I'm sure they're happy about where it's gonna go, or expecting or hoping that it goes in a really good way for direction
Yeah.
for us. But other than that, like, is there anything that you would have changed yourself as, as a viewer?
Here's the good thing. The good thing is this for me, and I think for us, and that's why it's like perfect for us, because we got to understand that we just jumped into a franchise. That's the certain thing with movies like that's like the Avenger movies.
Yeah.
The MCU brought on so many fans that never really read comic books.
Right.
Yeah, certain comic books are so famous they couldn't avoid it. Yes, I've heard of Spider-Man, I've heard of Iron Man and Captain America, and then a bunch of them they hadn't heard of, the Guardians of the Galaxy and stuff like that. But they were able to jump into the franchise, and that's why those movies are such big hits.
Right.
Because there's such a big percentage of fans now for the MCU specifically that don't have a tie to the original works and don't really care or notice if there's been any changes, whether they're for the worse or the better. They're just enjoying what they're seeing. And if you take, like, the MCU is a perfect example of that, of what they've done just from the beginning. It's like, it's all great, so only unless there's things that you liked about the original versions of the comic book or animated or anything that came before, then you might be disappointed as a fan because you're a fan of the franchise. Right. And hence comes the fan service. I don't personally, and you're the same thing, we don't know of any of the fan service the show has. As of right now, I've heard good things about people who are fans of the games and the books, so I'm guessing it's spot on. But overall, I wouldn't change anything because I don't know of anything to change.
Right.
You know what I mean? Personally.
I get that.
You could go from a creative aspect and saying like, somebody who doesn't like the confusion of the storyline, because even my wife said she loved it actually, but she did, say jokingly in MSK, maybe he could work some magic, because if you check out our Instagram, he redid the TARDIS scene from Doctor Who of the newest Doctor for it, which it's way better. What he did with that is way better. I mean, I don't know if he just reused someone else's or whoever that editor is. I believe it was MSK, but if not, that it's just way better. So if someone could re-edit the show, this is my wife's suggestion, that she would like to see it before the next season comes around, whenever that is for someone to re-edit it and play it in order, chronological order of storyline, so you're fully caught up for season 2.
You're right,
with no confusion.
You're right, because
but I liked it. I wouldn't change it, but I think that's the only argument anyone can have, because if you're not a fan of the actual franchise, really, what is there open to change? Honestly, I mean, let's make it more family friendly? Fuck no.
No. So no, I do understand her in that sense. And when you, because I think I was the first one that watched it, and when you asked me about it, I told you I liked it, but I explained to you, like, maybe after episode 4 things will start making sense for you.
Well, that's what happened. The first time you told me, this same thing happened. I have a cousin, the same thing. He's on my bottom skill parameter. If he says something's bad, then I don't waste my time watching it, because he's a guy that he only watches things he likes, and even if it's garbage, he likes it, especially with zombie stuff. But he had said the same thing. He was, I think, about the same point that you were in it, about episode 3 or 4. For whatever reason, that's the breaking point where people who don't love it love it.
Yeah.
But I actually liked it all the way in. I think I'm in a smaller percentage, at least of those that I know. Like I said, you, my cousin, another guy that works for my wife, I know he's a huge video game and Witcher fan, all that. And a lot of people tend to, for whatever reason, it was the third one in.
Yeah.
I know maybe like 1 or 2 other people that, like me, I was hooked beginning to end, especially again because that fight scene in the first episode just is fantastic.
Yes.
Especially what it means, like in the first episode of a series, to give so much depth that leads all the way to the end of the season, which is how scorned the Witcher is from being in love. And then it's funny because they already have these rumors that they're Vulcans basically, and they're emotionless. Mm-hmm. So this is already a rumor that's obviously not true, right, especially with him, because we see him fall in love
and they keep
again,
asking
basically.
him. They keep asking him throughout the whole show, like, hey, do you have feelings? Like, do you feel like, I've heard of this about you, I've heard this. So it's all rumors. It's all...
Exactly.
They don't know how they're made.
Yeah, unless you're a Witcher yourself or someone who makes a Witcher, right, you don't know the truest aspects of what their emotional capability is. But in the very first episode, we already know that's not the case, because he basically was almost love at first sight, and then within 24 hours, he has to kill her.
Yeah. She
leaves him zero choice. And it's just, and that fight scene itself, besides that, they're both, I'm sorry. I mean, I really enjoyed Rise of Skywalker, but in one episode, I kind of almost felt more of that fight between those two characters than I did between Ren and Ray. You know what I mean? I mean, then again, they had a break in what's that? What you call it? The Last Jedi, which I still enjoyed. But I think because of the change in storyline or whatever, there's something that was kind of made and then lost a little bit. But regardless, back to The Witcher. In that moment, I really felt that, like, man, these are both excellent combatants, and she wants him to just surrender. So one of them doesn't have to kill the other, and he wants her to just surrender, and them knowing that in the fight it's only going to end with one of them dying.
Of course.
And it's excellent, man. When he kills all those other guys and just the way he hacks to him with the sword, it's just so well done. I was like, damn, this is a good show.
Just to clarify, because like again, I was hooked from the beginning. I loved the show from the beginning, but it did take me a while to get that Confucius, all that chaotic timeline that was happening. That was just for me personally. So when I do recommend it to people, because there are people asking me, hey, is this show good? And I always tell them the same thing, just in case, because you have to stick it out if you're not, like, I feel like if you're going to recommend it, I think the safest thing to tell somebody is not like, yes, it's a great show from the beginning to end, because most people will not get it like that. And that happened to me. So I feel like after episode 3 or 4, whatever it is, everything becomes like either you love it or you hate it by then.
Yeah, I feel that. No, I agree with that completely, because that, I mean, at least for me, like, I loved it from the beginning, but I think that you too, and that's what a lot of people do, you go back and watch those same episodes that were kind of meh for you for whatever reason. Again, you go, no, this is actually damn good. Yeah. But because of the confusion in the storyline and knowing where it's going, you don't enjoy it as much, because your story editing brain of trying to understand the big picture, because that's what we all do now. Everything is always trying to confuse us, and us trying to confuse ourselves, and everyone overthinking, and everyone theorizing. Like, that's just the culture we're in now when it comes to especially television drama. And if it doesn't really look like a clear picture to you, and you're kind of like, this is just going to be, diet Lord of the Rings, and they don't really have a direction, and just going to be all over the place, and it's basically War of Worldcraft, you know what I mean, type of thing. And like, if I don't play these games, because that's the difference. Like, if you don't play The Witcher, why would you be interested in The Witcher if it's not a good story and a good show and presented well? Of course. So you're just like, if it's just a bunch of people going around and, elves and different stories, and I don't get it, and I'm like, nah, forget it, because we're all story arc now. Everybody's about story arc. We really don't want, some filler's good when it connects to the story arc a little bit, but we don't want filler. It's changed completely the dynamic of television, and less episodes is a common thing, because again, we rather have story arc than 20 episodes of filler. Mm-hmm. So it's a very common thing, and it makes sense. So yeah, you're 100% right. So everyone, when you go to recommend it to your friends, that's a good suggestion. Let them know, stick it out. Those same episodes that might feel mad to you, because they might love it from the get-go, but if they feel mad, they won't. Once you understand, then go back again and watch them if you want, and you'll watch it with a different set of eyes, because they're like, oh yeah, because this is why, and this is why. Because I am looking for, I don't want to watch it right away right now, because there's still so many things to watch. I'm Vikings, I still haven't started again. They're on their last season. I watch that too. The CW crossover's coming back, and we got I still haven't jumped on Peaky Blinders, and I know that's fantastic.
That is fantastic, man. That is fantastic.
I haven't gotten to that. So there's just so much catching up to do. His Mortal Instruments or whatever on HBO is pretty good, but I'm like 3 episodes behind of that. So I'm not going to rewatch something I just finished watching when I still got so many things that when I get the chance I want to watch. Right. But I'm definitely looking forward to rewatching it before the second season comes out. Because it was a fun watch.
I feel the same way, man. I feel the same way. So let's see. Let's see what they can bring.
But man, that Yennefer storyline, I don't know about you, but I'm going to say for me, and you tell me where your head was at. I was surprised how, at least this season, I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but I did not expect for her storyline to end this season with her being a good guy. Like, I totally felt that they were setting me up for the story of, like, the queen of evil that's here to destroy all.
100%. I felt that's exactly what was going to happen, and I'm not even trying to agree with you, like, because I put it this way, it almost felt like that's exactly what they were going for, like, towards the end. Like, there's no other way. Like, all these the way that she was being treated and the way they worked her story up, it's 100%. I did not see that coming towards the end. You're 100% on that, man.
Especially because even as we were going towards the middle, she still kept, like, example, she wouldn't, like, take responsibility for what she did.
Nope.
She kept blaming them of, like, the whole thing of not being able to have kids, that they did this to her. Like, he told her up front, you have to sacrifice this for that. Right. And then she went, okay, do it. You know what I mean? So she was given a choice. Yeah. They didn't do it to her. She was given a choice. But then, you know, she's saying as well, they promised me all this power and made me thirst for all this power, whatever, that basically made me feel like I didn't have a choice. And that's her aspect on it to not.
That's her MO. That's her MO throughout the whole thing.
Exactly, to self-victimize. So the concept that she kept justifying her actions, I'm like, okay, this is going to keep going down this road till finally, especially the way of what happened with the queen that she was with when they tried to assassinate her.
Yeah.
Which that scene's crazy. That scene is crazy, and what a horrible person. Like, she did deserve to die. She's like, just take the baby. Like, nice, mother of the year, aren't you? Like, I just was gonna cough up that baby and like just to save herself. Terrible, bro. You know, but then and it's crazy because with all that storyline, and that's what I liked about. There's little things that have big consequences. And when the dragon, again, now we know he was saying that because, again, he lives outside of time and knows a lot more. And during that scene when they said, like, oh yeah, the mage for the I forget the kingdom now, the one that's taking over everyone, that were basically the Weasleys of this freaking kingdom that certainly turned into the Slytherin. Like, they got so tired of being pissed on that they became the Slytherins of this freaking world.
That's funny.
And went ape. But it's funny because, remember, she was supposed to be the mage there.
Yep.
And when he says that, he goes, if only they had a more headstrong mage that would have kept them at bay. And that would have been her. Yep. And then the smallest thing, she was almost a nobody character that we thought at first, which is the niece of the head of the Brotherhood, which Candyman's niece, basically, that she would be so scorned that she became, you know what I mean? The darkest evil, because she didn't get what she was promised. Exactly. So she didn't get what she was promised, and then she's turned these people into this massive evil war army.
Crazy.
And yeah, crazy.
That's such a good writing, though, man. And
it is so clever, so small.
That's one of the things that makes me excited that I want to go and read these books. Mm-hmm. I want to see if the books are as close to these type of storylines, because that's really good writing, man. You don't see that coming. You like all this timeline, all this destiny that you want to call it. Like that's great, man. It was really fun show, man. Really fun.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, the sword fighter that's from Game of Thrones, the one that trained Arya Stark. I'm gonna tell you why I'm bringing this up for a second.
Okay.
I really wish that guy had been the sword fighting instructor of the one magician or whatever, wizard or whatever, the sword fighting one. The one that kept pulling.
Yes, the one that was teaching.
Okay, because listen, it's fantastic that you have this wonderful magical power to grab another sword automatically out of your sheath while you still have a full energy of magic. But you shouldn't fight that way.
No.
You know what I mean? You should fight like the sword in your hand is the only sword in your hand, and then it's a great backup to have the ability that if you lose or break or whatever that sword, to grab another. But to fight constantly losing swords, you need to step up your game, buddy.
Sir, like who trained you? Who trained you?
Swords. This guy running out of swords. Like, and you knew it. It's like, this guy. This guy
has infinite ammo, right? This guy has infinite ammo, and this man freaking just throws
That's
them
the problem.
away.
It's not infinite. At least if it's infinite, okay, great. But it's like, no, it's like once I run out of energy, it's like, so you think that at some point in some battle like this one, you won't run out of energy and then that's it, no more swords?
Listen, I'll put it this way. Legolas,
right?
Looks like he's got infinite ammo. But my man goes around and picks up his own damn freaking arrows from them and uses it again, okay? And he's got infinite ammo back there.
But that's why it's infinite ammo, because he keeps reloading it. Where this guy is like, man, just fight like that's the only sword you got, man. Don't keep running out of swords.
I see where you're going with that. That's pretty funny, man. That was pretty funny. It's a good take on
like, you need a better sword trainer, like seriously,
by
like,
far.
The Black Pirate Roberts or something like that from Princess Bride. Somebody, man, like
anybody,
the Dread,
anybody,
it's the
except
Dread Pirate,
the person that actually trained you with this.
Actually, what is it, Kerry Ewells or whatever? That guy actually was an Olympic fencer, I believe. Which he was the consultant for the Princess Bride. See, that's the guy. They should have the Dread Pirate Roberts. That would be fantastic. Throw that in there out of nowhere. Yeah, Princess Bride. That's the only thing. They're talking about remaking Princess Bride. They better not do it. But if they re-edited Princess Bride to have the adult flavor of The Witcher, that would be something.
So here's the thing that when I first saw that they were making Witcher, and again, I never play the games or anything, but every time I would see like the covers for Witcher 3, man, for some reason I always saw Mads Mikkelsen as The Witcher. For some reason, I've always seen Mads.
I can see that
playing this character, and when they announced Henry Cavill, I was like,
Man of Steel.
I was like, I hope this works because that's not who I see in this. Like, but man,
you know what? I gotta give it to him. He has displayed his range.
He is good.
Seriously,
he's good.
Yep.
And only because he's played two iconic characters. Like normally you wouldn't really see such a displays of range because, in fairness, that's like 50% of his script at least. But the thing is that it's so different, and even his facial expressions and his emotional presentation, everything from his Man of Steel. Yes, but
that you see the range.
But here's why I love the character, how he portrayed this character. Right. I've never played the games, but I promise you, I thought, if I play the game, this is the character I'm gonna get. I almost guarantee that if I play that game, because he's giving you a very subtle, like there's obviously in the games that character is not gonna be very wordy and a lot of sayings, and they wrote him that way. So I'm pretty sure that the character in the games are gonna be like that. I'm almost betting my check on this, that his character on the game is exactly how he's portraying it on the thing, and that's skillful, man. No matter what, that's skillful.
It makes sense. It makes sense because you see it. It's like, example, that's what makes like a Spider-Man game so hard to make, but so good when they do it, is that he's a talker. You know what I mean? It's almost like the Deadpool game for PlayStation 3. I love that game. Why? Because they made a great talking Deadpool that carries the character over. But for video game play, that's pretty hard. Yeah. Because you really want to just do more of the playing of the game. Yeah. So yes, a subtle, less spoken, but important when he does speak character is fitting. So yeah, if that's not how the character is, then that's how they should make it. Because I totally see myself playing a game with that character because it works so easily into the storyline. And so I totally agree with you on that.
Yeah, it's just straight to it, straight to the cutthroat, and just not enough. You're not getting a lot of it. You're not getting a lot out of this character. So I give him props for what he did.
No, he's great, and I think he loves the role, so I think we'll be seeing him do it for a while. Unfortunately, you probably know it's going to be one of these every 2 years type of series, because that can't be a quick film, man. You look at it, that's a lot of special effects,
not with the effects,
a lot of scenery. And then they got a lot of good actors, and that's always the biggest, dread. When you have a lot of good actors, they do other work too. So it's a lot of scheduling issues. So everyone's gonna have to be patient. We're not gonna get these. I seriously doubt we're gonna get these every year a season. I think it's gonna be like a year and a half minimum between seasons.
And I'm okay. I'm okay. We had Game of Thrones.
I'm fine with it too. But you don't know, because I believe it or not, the numbers came out. And only because, again, they're going to prove Disney Plus wrong with the concept that they're doing with The Mandalorian. Yeah. It might mainly be because of the binge watch aspect of it. But The Witcher's ratings crushed The Mandalorian's ratings. Yeah. The Witcher ended the year with the highest downloaded or whatever streamed series of 2019.
Yeah, and so it probably has to do with the binging thing, which
exactly. It was the timing. Exactly, it was the timing. So Netflix timed it well. They released it holidays. A lot of people off from school and work and all that stuff. And in the binge watch aspect, and The Mandalorian, you have a lot of people who still have yet to get Disney Plus because, I'm not going to get it for one show. In my opinion, it has a lot more content than one show. It
does.
I'm pretty much hooked on Disney Plus. I'm a Saturday morning cartoon guy. We've talked about it somewhat. But overall, I get it. A lot of people are canceling Disney Plus already until the next season of The Mandalorian, or until all the Marvel shows start to come out too. But, the content's a little rough because people, unfortunately, a lot of people want all new content. They don't want to relive their childhood and reminisce of their retro Saturday morning cartoons or reminisce of their favorite Fox shows and stuff like that. So a little bit on the bearings.
And a lot of them didn't have that.
Really
a lot
good.
of them didn't have that Saturday morning cartoons. Like they that's not their thing.
Yeah, so they don't have the nostalgia to grab it. Yep. So that being said, Netflix realizing it, okay, wait a minute, our answer right now to The Mandalorian is The Witcher. Maybe they do throw a massive budget at it and say, nah, we're competing. This is coming out every year. So fingers crossed that the healthy competition between Disney Plus and Netflix gets us quicker seasons of shows.
Yeah, true. And,
so they can compete.
And they signed a contract. Didn't they just sign a contract with
Nickelodeon, that's right.
So
yeah, so we're gonna get all that stuff.
That's for those people that want that.
Yeah, I know they're gonna do a new Airbender, Avatar Airbender show.
Oof.
So I know that's gonna be that's an MSK conversation right there because I know
I'm gonna walk out
was
of
all
this
in on that. I've seen episodes and it's good. It's another one of those things. It's so long. I wasn't in the beginning that I'm hesitant. It's like MSK with Supernatural. We'll have to do a Supernatural episode of MSK because he's gonna literally wait till that series is completely over and a decade from now, and
then watch a YouTube video that tells them everything in an hour.
Yeah, pretty much just catch up. Maybe, but yeah, I would totally agree to that. I mean, we're just gonna have to see how it pans out, but hopefully they're definitely gonna do another season after that. It's a good show. So, but I mean, I enjoyed it. I love everything about it. Geralt is a great character. Ciri, I want to see what's gonna happen with that. I'm already hearing theories that everyone thinks that Yennefer teleported her essence into Ciri, because there is a weird thing there that Ciri heard him calling for her in the dream, and she's never even heard of Yennefer before.
Yeah, it's
and has yet to see Geralt himself, the Witcher himself, to then have that connection of knowing who Yennefer is, and that's the last thing she says. Who's Yennefer? So that's going to be pretty interesting to see what the Ciri connection is and what happened to Yennefer. She just Jedi poofed away. Like she just Jedi morphed.
Oh man, that's
what's it called? The Jedi death, whatever it's called, when you just phase out, body left.
Leave. You just let your clothes there. You leave your clothes there.
Yeah, exactly. That, or she just put on some camouflage, just hiding under the rock there. Man, I don't know what she did, but
oh man, I can't wait.
She flamed on. I'm looking forward to it. It's great. I mean, I just, again, let us know. Maybe we're off on some of the storyline, whatever. Leave us a message. Hit us up on the Instagram and, throw a comment. If there's things more you want to talk about. Again, I'm positive this is a series that in conversation and a catch up or, what's going on Netflix or a Nerdcessity binge cast episode or something like that. We'll definitely talk about it because I know MSK is going to watch this. I know MSK is going to love it. He's going to talk about all the nerdier things that we're not as, in tune with, like
maybe catch some things that we never saw. Catch some
the
things.
Score. Yeah, he's a big score guy, and it's a good score. I mean, we're joking. That's a Creed song, man.
It is a great song.
Going to your Witcher. That's a '90s 2000 emo rock.
It's catchy. It's catchy, man.
It's
I
so
can't
catchy.
wait. I can't wait.
It's so commercial friendly. But I mean, it's no Baby Yoda, but it's up there. It's up there.
So going back, since we're only you and I are reviewing W's, what is our next W that we're going to review, like TV show that we're going to review?
That's a W. Oh, and you know what's funny? We did westerns together too.
We did.
That's a W.
Yeah. You want to do Walker Texas Ranger? No.
How about the new one when Sam from Supernatural ends up being the new Texas Ranger, Walker Texas Ranger?
Maybe the
like
West
a year
Wing.
from now.
How about the West Wing? You want to do the West Wing?
I never watched the West Wing.
Me neither.
How about the wrestler with what's his name?
The wrestler.
What's the movie? What's the actor? Wow, I'm blanking on his name right now. From The Wrestler, huge actor, Mickey Rourke. Mickey Rourke movie, The Wrestler.
No, but we got it.
Westworld. Westworld. We got coming up.
We do
I
have
think
Westworld.
In a few months.
We do have.
We'll have Westworld. There we go. I'm sure if I go on Disney Plus, I'll find all kinds of W's. I like W stuff. The Wizard of Oz.
It's just us. It's just the W's. So,
it's just W's only. That's funny. 2020, the year of W's.
W's. Let's just do another one. Another W.
Oh man. So yeah, I guess we'll start wrapping it up. We'll go ahead and again, any apologies for if you heard any coughing or sneezing or whatever. MSK is usually the beast of taking that stuff out, but we can't force him to just spoil an entire series for himself. And listen, on that, if you're listening to this from a month from now, he went back after watching the series, and he's a bit of a perfectionist and fixed all that. Yep. So we thank him for that. But thank you for bearing with us. And obviously,
also, we didn't do our necessity, but I guess
I could think of an easy one that's related. But if you have something else on top of that,
no, I mean. What? Go ahead. I don't have anything.
Okay. Well, I'll do a double because I mentioned it earlier. But obviously, I would think, because I'm personally going to do it, and we kind of did this with The Watchmen. With The Watchmen, we said if you haven't seen the other movie and you haven't read the comic books, not a bad idea. That's pretty much a necessity because it's where its base is from, and it might not hurt to familiarize yourself with the original content.
Yep.
And read the comic books, watch the original film.
Yep.
So same here. I'm pretty motivated personally. I'm probably going to go with the video game.
Yeah.
I think I'll go with either the most recent or one of the first video games. Either download it online or
is it PC only, or they have them I think Witcher 3 was on PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 3.
PS4? I think I'll do it. I mean, I don't know, because maybe go back far back and see if they have a download on PS4. I'm a PS4 guy, so for your Xbox people or for your PC people, a download of the first game, because I guess the stories are going back to the beginning.
Yeah.
Originally. So I'd rather, instead of spoiling it, I think I have a bad feeling you jump into Witcher 3, you know exactly where Yennefer's at, how he got that scar, because I've seen pictures of him with a scar. You know what I mean? True. So I want to see how he gets the scar. So maybe start at the beginning, or the books for that matter. So I think it's a very relevant necessity to hit the source material.
Yep.
And outside of that, I mentioned it because it came out around the same time. If you are a Lost in Space fan on Netflix, season 2 was out. Great season. Again, great acting. Great story. That's family friendly, and it's a very fun watch. And if you haven't watched it at all, I would recommend it. I do. It's a necessity. It's based on an original old school sci-fi show, Lost in Space, but they did some wonderful tweaking to make it original, make it different, and make it very entertaining.
Yeah.
And so those would be my 2 necessities.
Cool.
So
I like it. I mean, I think I'm gonna go back and read the books, man. I'm really excited. I feel like I'm going to search really hard for these books. I think I'm gonna do it.
Were you able to find any audio? Did they have any of them?
No, I couldn't find any audio on my app, which is disappointing because then I have to actually pay attention and pick up the book and read it.
Dude, they gotta get. Here's the thing, because he does a lot of and fuck, like especially fuck, like they gotta get. Like, well, can you imagine Samuel Jackson doing?
Oh my goodness!
Fuck, motherfucker! Like every fuck will become motherfuck. Like motherfuck.
Oh boy.
Mother flirgy.
Oh man.
Oh man, Christopher Walken, Joe Pesci. He's another one of those.
Okay. Fuck.
Fucking you fucking mutt you fucking fuck. Fucking law fucking surprise you fucking mutt you hold him here Yennefer, you hold him here.
So that's gonna be our end. That's gonna be our necessity and the end of the show.
That's our necessity. And that's the end of the show. 2 minutes now. You don't get
no.
So in case we edit out, whatever, but always, especially now, I was really about to do it. Like I was getting pretty annoying on New Year's Eve because now it's the 20s. It's the roaring 20s. It's like the Bay's Nays. This is phonetically correct. Hey there, folks. Yeah, crazy kids. Come on, all year long for the whole decade. Let's talk just like this.
Are we gonna dress like the 20s again?
Same thing. All long sleeve shirts, man. We're in Florida. That's rough. Long sleeve shirts and fedoras, and I actually got a couple of fedoras. Fedoras are great, fantastic. Fedoras are excellent. I'm gonna start bootlegging too. Bring back the bootlegging.
Geraldo, how do you talk like Geraldo Rivera? How would you talk if you were Geraldo Rivera?
With the witcher, fuck, fuck. I just want some peace and quiet there. No more malarkey from you. Stop singing your song.
That's awesome.
Toss a coin to your witcher.
And that's it. That's going to wrap it up. Wrap it up, guys.
That's going to wrap it up. This is Omega saying peace.
Yo, peace. Peters.
And there you have it, folks. This has been Phonetically Correct. Until next time, you crazy kids. Signing off.